All right, I want to pivot because I don't know if there's been a team over the course of the last 3 to 4 years that has been more active in the transfer market, and now that there's a transfer in the transfer portal, than Arkansas. They've already added 5 guys. And I think you can make the argument that the piece that they added on, I believe it was Tuesday morning, was the biggest addition that they've made this offseason. L. Ellis, coming from Louisville, 17 points, 4 assists, joins Khalif Battle, joins Jeremiah Davenport, joins Tremont Mark, joins Kenyon Minifield, joins potentially Devo Davis, Darian Ford, Trevon Brazil, who I do believe is going to come back to school after turning his ACL.
He already said he's coming back. He
already said he's coming back. Yes. And then potentially Jordan Walsh, who put out like a decision post that made absolutely no sense the other day. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
But it looks like Arkansas can be loaded once again. Where do you stand on this group? Where do you stand on the impact that L. Ellis could have with that team? And is Arkansas going to sit here and be a national title favorite when we head in next season? Because I have a very difficult time looking at the pieces they've added, the pieces that they're bringing back, and saying anything other than like, okay, you're going to have to pencil them at the top of the SEC once again.
All right. L. Ellis, 32. Keon Menifield, 33. Jeremiah Davenport, 33. Tremont Mark, 33. Khalif Battle, 35. Do you know what those are?
The minutes they played at their last school.
No. Those are their 3-point shooting percentages.
Let me tell you guys about our sponsor for today's episode, Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 a few weeks back. When we get in the middle of college hoop season, it can be hard for me to eat and drink as healthy as I probably should be, especially in late February and March when the schedule gets really busy. But I found that I've felt better as I've made AG1 a part of my daily routine. I take AG1 in the afternoons after the coffee is worn off and once the itis post-lunch is kind of set in. And what I found, my energy levels are up. It's improved my digestion. And as a result, I'm not only more efficient and productive in the most important time of the year for me and for the field of 68, but I'm working out more consistently. I just feel better. AG1 is so much more than just a greens powder. It's comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally could not be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of the AG1 formula with water, and I drink it every single afternoon. Done. Just like that. I also like that it only costs $3 a day. The price is right. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is the answer. They are giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Free! Just go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's athleticgreens.com/field68. The link is in the description below. Check it out. Support the field of 68 and feel better about yourself. I was close.
Yeah, no, you weren't. You actually weren't close at all. But that's my worry. That's my worry with Arkansas. Again, we saw it last year where they didn't have a knockdown shooter. Well, they did. The kid Pinion off the bench. But other than that, they didn't have a guy who could shoot the hell out of the ball. Maybe they're not done here because they got to wait to see what happens with Devo and Walsh. And maybe Brazil will be a better shooter. We got to have him on the show. I love that kid. Really like the kid. He took a hit for me. How about this? Before their NCAA tournament game, you know about Inflategate, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tried to grab a basketball and I was dribbling it. And I gave him my phone. I said, I need you to video this so I can show everybody that it's like a Super Bowl. The way this thing bounces. So he was all in. He was ready to video me dribbling the ball. And then all of a sudden, somebody from the NCAA went off on me. You know, basically didn't go off, but he was like, Jeff, you can't do that. You can't touch those balls. I'm like, all right. But Brazil was ready to take the heat for me and be my videographer, which he would have done a hell of a lot better job than you do. But getting back to
you're not allowed to make fun of anybody for their photo taking or their video taking skills. Okay. Let's just be clear about that.
I've gotten better.
No, you
anyway, I listen, in Muss, I trust to be able to put together a competitive team that we know will start off slow because that's what they do and then get better and they peak at the right time. But I just think there might be a cap on this team if they don't have, if they got a bunch of 33% 3-point shooters. That's
the only thing I'll say, I'll push back on is that I think that the situation that L. Ellis was in at Louisville this year was never going to result in having a good 3-point shooting season because he was asked to do too much and asked to take a lot of tough shots. Yeah. And I think that you can make a little bit of the same argument with the Khalif Battle, but your point is well taken. The talent is there, the pieces are there, but maybe the shooting is not. So, to a point though, I'm not super concerned about that when it comes to Muss, because basically his MO is find a mismatch and then let his guys go and go win that mismatch. And he did add a couple guys and go out there and create their own shot in Ellis, Khalif Battle, and Tremont Mark specifically. So I don't hate the pieces they're putting together. I just wonder, like, how, let me ask you this. How sustainable is what Muss is doing? Like how long
very
is it gonna be?
sustainable in this world now. Like, we didn't know if it would sustain itself when he was at Nevada doing it, but
No,
now
my question is, he's going to have another roster that's 11 or 12 deep, right? And I'm sure
yes.
all of these kids, when they're committing, they're getting promises on playing time, shots, scoring attempts. Yeah, look, you're going to be the guy when you come in here. Well, they probably told Chris Likes he was going to be the guy, and he sat the bench for most of the season. They probably told Jalen Grand that he was going to be the guy, right? So is that something where eventually word gets out that, like, look, you know what? You might end up at Arkansas, but they're going to bury you on the bench. You can't trust what that staff necessarily. I'm throwing out.
I mean, yes, if they have, they got those 5 guys, you get Brazil, Devo, Walsh. What's that? That's 8 right there. One of the Mitchell twins is coming back, 9. Yeah, I mean, listen, these things usually have a way of working themselves out. So if I'm Muss, I'm not worried about it. I'm accumulating talent. I would just say, to me, if Walsh, which Walsh should come back, he needs to come back. He's a stud. I love the kid. I just think, he could use kind of like the kid Adembona from UCLA, who I put out earlier today. He put his name in for the draft. He's another one, like, come back for another year. You can really get better from your freshman, your sophomore year. And they both have kind of, not glaring weaknesses, but weaknesses they can work on and get better at. And Jordan Walsh, you can turn yourself into a, first round pick. I don't know if he is a first round pick right now. I really don't. I mean, he doesn't shoot it well enough.
Yeah, you got to be able to shoot it, or you have to, like, be Draymond Green or Andre
he's
Jackson.
An elite defender. Jordan Walsh is an elite defender and an elite athlete.
Let me ask you this: Jordan Walsh or Andre Jackson right now?
Boy, I'll take Jackson because he does so much more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to me, it's clearly Jackson, right?
It's clearly, but Walsh. Honestly, it just depends which one of them can shoot it at the end of the day. Because if you can't shoot it, you can't stay on the court in the NBA.
I hear you, and I don't necessarily disagree, but I think that with Jackson, there's so much more upside because of the passing ability and the playmaking ability.
Sure.
Whereas Jordan Walsh, best case scenario is a 1 and done, or a 3 and D perimeter player. And if you don't have the 3 part and you're only playing defense, I don't know how good you end up being. But I still think at the end of the day, you're looking at a preseason top 10 team in Arkansas, and I will die on that hill, which looks like a hill that may end up needing to die on. Listen,
no, I think most people would probably agree with you that they'll, they're going to accumulate enough talent, and they're older. Like, that's the other thing. To me, you got to be old, but you got to have the right chemistry. My only concern is, and I actually think, again, like, if there's anybody that can do it on a year-to-year basis, the 2 guys that you kind of trust doing it that have done it are Musselman and Chris Beard.